Hey guys, this is Cory from the Life Insurance Professionals. Happy to be here and spending some time with you guys. Wanted to do a series. Haven't been spending too much time putting up videos, and I really wanted to kind of get a better presence. So I figured, what's the better way to find something amazing that we can talk about? And this is a great article that I love. It's called The 8 Crucial Things Parents Need to Prepare in Case You Die. Really great conversation, a little bit morbid, written by Michelle here on kidstime.com. They are a overseas company, though they do have content throughout the world, but she was pretty awesome. She was super nice to be able to offer for me to use this article here. So again, my name is Cory. That's me and my boys, Sammy and Harvey. I'm a life insurance agent in 26 different states in the U.S. You could always go to corymlevine.com and just kind of scroll down and hit Let's Connect. That'll text me. My number is on one of the next pages here, which is 561-542-8610. That's 561-542-8610. Say hi to your agent there. Call me anytime, day or night. Text me. It's all good. I will follow back up with you. So my website out there is thelifeinsuranceprofessionals.com, and you can see term, permanent, and final expense life insurance quotes. A little bit about me and the boys, and some basic information, some great articles that I wrote and found, 6 tips to understanding how to get the best term life insurance. And we don't want to be these guys, the guys with the fundraisers, because GoFundMe is not a way to take care of your family. GoFundMe.com is a source. God knows when my wife died, we had to GoFundMe. We weren't 100% prepared, but I wanted to go into the article. This is a terrible stories about people who just are single parents. And so a little bit about my practice. My practice focuses on single moms and dads and widowers. I also work with families to help prevent them from going down the road that I went through and a lot of my clients have gone through in the past. And now we're getting them even more prepared. God forbid that single parent disappears in the child's life. So we do work with families. We love working with moms and dads and really preparing everybody for the worst case scenarios. So check the bottom, check the description. It'll have a link to a little web page that we have also that helps you to go through a survey and how we can help you and figure out what's your needs, because that's what's most important here. Is my clients' needs are always the most important thing. So this nice lady is letting us use her article on screen here, Michelle from thekidstime.com. Check it out. 8 crucial things parents need to do in case they die. These are just preparatory steps to follow. And I'm going to go through them quick today. It's going to be a short video. And we're going to break down each step, some of the things I've done, some proof of what I've implemented that makes me feel really good and helps me to sleep at night, so that I know that Sammy and Harvey are taken care of, because I'm the only one left. Mom's dead, dad's dead. I do have a sister, thank God. She'd be the one to take care of it. And they're based out in Ireland, but you can sign up on their website to get some really great contents on things to do and parenting and parties, traveling with your kids. It's a great website. So let's get into it. So, I'm going to read some of it to you, and just the entry here pretty much, which is, having children is a game changer, and you want to do everything in your power to protect your family and provide them no matter what happens to you. So you have to have everything in place to protect your family. I call it having your ducks in a row, no matter what happens. Even if the worst happens, the worst case scenario, you want to make sure that everything is up to date. You want to make sure that things are taken care of. And these are the 8 things that are crucial for you to prepare in case you die. So I'm going to go through the first one, which is talking to loved ones. We didn't really ever have that conversation with our family about what if my wife died. She died when she was 37. The talking to the loved ones is really important and smart. As parents, sometimes we just sleep really well knowing our kids are safe in their beds. But as single parents, and especially widowers, we stay up a little bit more worrying about what if we aren't here? What if they found us? That was my big thing. That gave me a lot of stress and anxiety was what would happen if my kids had to find me? What would happen and what would they do? So making sure you get your affairs in order is not just something older people do, but it's something that younger families should do and have a place where everything is kind of kept. Becoming a parent and or a property owner, it's essential. You have legal rights, you have financial affairs to put in order, and that we know you love your kids and that you have the best wishes for them, but it's important to discuss what's going to happen to them if something did happen to you, and speaking to the other people who are involved, like the friends and family who might need to play a bigger role. For instance, if your partner were to get ill and they couldn't work for an extended period of time, or had a medical emergency like cancer or a heart attack or whatever it might be, or if both of you were to die in a major accident, how would this impact the other members of your family, both legally and financially? Discussing where loved ones can find important documents and ensuring you are both signatories on those accounts, and giving them a list of the contacts, such as the solicitors, the bank managers, and the doctors. Of course, you want to make sure you trust these people. I have 2 people backed up. So my sister is going to be my main primary beneficiary, but my best friend Bobby, who's been my best friend for a very long time, and one of the guys I know I can rely on, he's got a copy of these documents. And there's a way we can do that electronically, and we can show you later if we have a meeting in the future to set things up and not only hold your documents, but the most important pictures and videos and, videos you might want to put in place that might explain the situation coming from your mouth directly to your kids' ears. There's subscriptions that you can get that will put everything in one place, where it can be saved onto a USB drive, as well as have access through signing in. And the most important people would have that. So knowing the doctors, the bank managers' names, the fund managers, your investment broker, your financial planner, the credit cards, the credit card companies, this makes a huge difference in an emergency. As morbid as it sounds, it is also wise to discuss funeral and burial and cremation arrangements, because cremations, like for my wife, and I can show you hers, was about $14,000. And that was no joke. And there's things that we can discuss that will explain to you what's the best way to get that paid for, no matter what your decision is, without you reaching in your pocket, using assessments and the life insurance that might be out there to get it paid quicker than having to wait for the actual death certificates to come in. Letting people know whether or not you want your organs donated usually is going to be determined by whether you chose it on your driver's license. It doesn't always have to be a family permission. You chose that, the hospital goes for it. And it's a great thing to do, but that's another conversation. So, talking to them and doing it. So I like to call it, and it's something that came to me from a friend who told me, and this is what his father labeled it as. I always wanted to make a book and call it that. It's called the Croak Book or the Croak File. Here's mine right here, and there's a lot of information written on the front and back of it. So if we were to open it up just real quick, I have in here my mortgage information right there. So it has also the password written on there to get into the account, so they're able to go, because my mortgage is in a different location than all my other checking accounts and things like that. So for them to know who to get in touch with, the number, they're not Googling, they're not looking. There's a customer service telephone number on here to let them know that they're going to be submitting a quick claim deed to move it over to my beneficiary's name, which has already been taken care of. But, it's still in my name. I don't want anything out of my name until I'm gone. So that's just, part one. Everything's signed. All my mortgage information's in there. There's actually 2 copies of it here. The next thing I have in here is from my lawyer, a letter that he represents me, that he has a copy of my will on file, but also the actual will Information about the trust is here. What would happen to me if a health issue, who would be my care surrogate, or who would be the person that would have power of attorney in reference to me wanting to be resuscitated. And I, yes, have a resuscitation order, a non-resuscitation order. Great for you if that's what you want. But for me, I don't want anything taking me away from my boys. I want to make sure that no matter what happens, I'm going to be there, which takes me to living benefits later and knowing about the proper information. So I have some investments that I did with some people in the past. I don't want to go into the details about them, but their promissory notes are in here. They're there to show what that person owes me, how much they owe me, that it's a legal contract, that I loan them that money, and that is going to be paid no matter what happens by the date that's on this paper. But if I pass, that they have the legal obligation for this money to be put into my trust. That's going to be there. Another thing which is really important, of course, is all my bank accounts on here. So I have all my bank accounts listed on here with their balances as of this specific date, which I update usually every 6 months, and I put them in there so they know where to go. Now, also written on here, I'm not going to flip it over, but it has my password in big letters in Sharpie and my username to sign into the account. What my questions are, it's all on here. And this can be kept in my safe. I have one specific safe that I keep this stuff in, that the really detailed stuff is in. And then I have another folder which is on my desk that has a little bit more of a redaction to some of the information, but it does see go into safe in all the parts that are, important, and it's there. And the people who know how to get in there, my sister's finger will open that up, and of course she knows how to get in there, as well as my friend Bobby could get into there at any time. And Bobby's much more wealthy than I am, so I don't think he ever needs to help himself to what's in there. Normally, and actually I don't have it in here now because I took it out last week, but I keep $2,000 vacuum sealed in here in a little bag, and that is just, pocket cash for my sister to be able to start anything that needs to be done. I was adding some funds to it, and I put it in the safe. I got to vacuum seal it again. But normally I keep $2,000 in a vacuum sealed pouch in here just so that it's there. And the next thing you're going to see here is my will. This is the actual will, last will and testament of Cory Levine. And it goes through all my tangible properties, payment of debts, how I want things handled, that I want for my sister to sell her home, and move into this house, which is bigger, the kids to be able to stay here. There's not much left on the mortgage. All the explanation of why I want it and what I want is in here. And that makes sure that, they know that I want my kids living in their house, and I don't want them moving here. The mortgage is super cheap. The most money can go to college funds. The most money can be saved for the kids. My sister can sell her house and put that money in her account for her retirement, and know that everything else is going to be taken care of. Life insurance policies are in here. Actually, they're in the safe. That's one of the things they see, the policies are in the safe, just so that they're there. Plus, I do have them mentioned in the actual will, the policies, so that they know the account numbers. But also, I then rewrote everything in here, that there are companies that I own percentages of. And that I made investments with people, and that there's a 5% ownership, and to call Danny or call whoever it is over at that company, that you own 5% of this company, and that there's a dividend that comes in from that company, and to expect it and to make sure that they go in there. Plus, all my passwords will line up to my Google Drive, which has all the documents in one particular file. So I'm covered 3 ways. I got the file that just kind of sits out on my desk or in the bookcase behind me, with the $2,000 in cash that's there. There's the safe, which has more cash in it, and also some gold bullion and some silver, and the things that I kind of want distributed to the kids, plus the ownership of the house is taken care of. So that's that. The next thing I'm going to go through is not going to be talked about today, but arranging life coverage. The third thing is writing a will. and I can break down my will a little bit better when we get there. The fourth thing is looking into a trust or fund that you can set up where everything goes into. And I have a trust fund set up. Everything will drop into the trust fund. My sister will be the beneficiary or the executor. My children will be the beneficiary of the fund itself. And then I have two executors on my estate that work together. And one is going to be my brother and one is going to be my sister. Nobody can make a decision without discussing it at least with two people. If one of my children wants an advance on the funds, it can't happen without the other one saying that they think it's a good investment or a good reason or that the kids are responsible enough. We're going to talk more about that, having a trust fund, deciding who's going to look after your children. Well, that kind of goes along with the first one, which is having the whole conversation. When you're having that conversation, I let my kids know everything's taken care of. You guys don't have to worry. It's only daddy here. So everything's in the red folder. If somebody walks in, you only hand that red folder over to Marla. Aunt Marla is the one who's going to get that. Okay? If there's cash in here, the cash should be taken out and put someplace before anybody enters the house. We don't want anything missing. The cash is there just as an emergency fund, and you know that Aunt Marla is going to be the one that takes you. You know that Aunt Marla is going to be the one that raises you. You know that Aunt Marla is going to live with you. You know that Aunt Marla is going to take care of you. And that conversation was a very important conversation that put my kids at ease. So, still talking about the first thing here and deciding who's going to look over your children is the most important thing. Knowing your entitlements, a lot of people don't know this. We'll go into deeper depth into this. But, there is a lot of financial and emotional support for your children, depending on their age especially. There may be some bereavement. There might be some financial support, and you should know about these things. The cost of the funeral, things like that. I've already taken care of it when I did my wife. She has a niche at this beautiful place called the Gardens. We reserved the one next to it, and there'll be some very limited amount of money needed to pay for just the actual cremation, the opening and closing. We'll go through that. We can talk about that in the series about what a bill actually costs if you wanted to get buried compared to cremated. But knowing the benefits and the entitlements that are available following death is useful for the surviving spouse or the guardians if this was to happen. So, you want to be aware of what you're entitled to. There are actually a lot of other entitlements. For instance, your children's gets your Social Security, and they get a survivor's benefit that will help to cover some of their needs up until the age of 18. I know some people that get $3,000 or $4,000 a month. Some people who get $2,000 a month per kid. I wish, but reviewing your investments really important, and having those investments in that file. Making sure you go through these things every 6 months like I do, is updating the checking accounts. Who knows? I change my debit cards. I change my bank. I change my mortgage, things like that. Those are the really important things. So those are the 8 most crucial things, I believe, that are out there that you need to prepare in case you die. It's not about whether or not your kids are going to live without you. That goes to say, they're young and they're healthy. They're going to live many, many, many years, God willing. But what's going to happen here is you're going to decide today or tomorrow or soon enough as to how they're going to live. And if they're going to have that happy life and remember the happy times and not just remember the day everything changed. Because that's the worst case scenario to me, is knowing the worst case scenario is that this is the changing moment in their lives, and that it's going to either have a positive spin to it, never a fully positive spin, but their futures can be bright and they can be positive and they can be loving and they can be cared for, and they can know that will happen. We have to have that conversation with our kids. So I thank Michelle for letting me talk about her article online. She's a mom of 2 girls, and she's based out of Ireland. But we'll go through each one of these things in the next part of this series. So talking to the loved ones is really big, and that's what we discussed today. But arranging the life coverage, fundamental financial coverage in place, assets, potential mortgages, how they're going to be covered, what's going to happen with that money, using a mortgage protection, a term life, a whole life, those types of things. That's the next conversation. So again, check out the website. It is thelifeinsuranceprofessionals.com. You can see it up here. I consider it the fastest, smartest, easiest way to shop for insurance. You can literally just click right here, and it's going to ask if you're a boy or a girl, a man or a woman. What's your date of birth? Super simple. That information will get to me, but sending me that information is great. I'd rather hear from you. A text message, 561-542-8610. Hit me up anytime. So I saw your video, and I just wanted to really talk. I'll reply with a link that's going to give you the ability to set up an appointment with me. And again, the number's right here on the website. Or if you don't remember that long name, thelifeinsuranceprofessionals.com, you can always just go to Cory M. Levine. I'll put the links in there. Cory M. Levine, Levine.com. My numbers are up there. Or just click the Let's Connect button, and you see right here, it's a little slow because of the screen share, but it's going to come up with a little box that's going to say, your bot is typing, this is me, text me, save my information, send me your name. It's all good, super easy, and I'm here to help. So I wish you guys a blessed night. I'm going to pick up my little one from school. I do it all myself. It's 6 years now that I'm alone. I'm still alone, but I'm not alone because I have my kids. But when God's time is ready for me to find somebody, my focus on my kids right now, and I'm always available. So if you call my cell phone and a 6-year-old answers, you just tell him you want to speak to Daddy about insurance, and he comes running. Okay. God bless you guys, and thank you so much for watching the 8 most crucial things that you need to do in case you die. And we're going to have another video going into life insurance coming up on this one that is going to show you some more details on why certain types of life insurance are smarter combined with other types of life insurance, and how to use different strategies to keep your price down but also your coverage up, and make sure that you don't always have to die. Use some living benefits. Life insurance is really death insurance, but life insurance should be for the living, and that's why we have living benefits attached to our policy. So we will speak soon. Again, Cory, the Life Insurance Professionals. Check the links in the description below. Thanks so much for your time. God bless you and your kids and your family. Bye-bye now.